Cinnamon is about representing the contemporary Sri Lankan to build the Sri Lanka's largest investment in any sector. Cinnamon define who we are, which is now today known as City of Dreams. (2010) was a very critical year, important year for not only for Cinnamon but the entire Sri Lanka. That's the year that we saw the ending of a 30-year-old war in the entire island. By 2012, we saw the tourist arrivals to the country is actually doubling up, and that's the time that there was a critical decision to be taken by this then John Keells Hotels. Either we build our own brand and then present to the world, or we give these hotels to be managed by a foreign brand. So it was a brave decision by the management at that point to go for the first decision where we build our own brand. The question is how and when and how much it's going to cost. The story goes on to say that once the decision was taken that we will build our own brand, as any other brand, there are two ways of doing it. We look at a DNA that is relevant to the market segment within the brand and develop it, or we build or you bring a DNA that is relevant to the market and try and inject into the existing brand. The first one is relatively easy, but the second one is almost very, very difficult, and very few brands around the world who has adopted that strategy. So Cinnamon decided, looking at the segmentation, looking at the market dynamics and the demographic that's going to change for the next 10 years, that we will go through a journey of injecting a new DNA to the brand. And what is this brand? It became Cinnamon, which basically represents the contemporary Sri Lankan to the world. It is something similar to what Taj did to India. Can Cinnamon actually approach that? And since then, the journey has been something very interesting, and Cinnamon has gone into a level where it has actually brought in a huge, not only the equity for the group, but also for the entire country. So when you're branding something, there are 4 questions that you need to answer, every brand. The first question is not about the vision or the mission. The first question of the brand is who you are. Defining who you are is a critical component. So the first thing that was done is did Cinnamon define who we are. It is not about selling hotels. It is not about selling rooms. The Cinnamon is about representing the contemporary Sri Lankan and making every moment something memorable for every one person who's touching the brand. So that's the kind of who we are. So from there, we move on to a new vision and a mission. And more importantly, the fourth element is what are the values of a brand. Without values, you don't have foundation. So those values, those 4 elements, who we are, vision and a mission and a values are put it together. And of course, no brand can achieve anything if you don't have any activity plan which actually bring these 4 elements into life. So many other activities which nobody has thought in the past was brought in. So we look at it taking a destination marketing into our hand, filling that vacancy at that point, bringing more interesting and also entertaining and for the first time kind of a new experiences to the entire brand. So this is what actually Cinnamon has done, and we went through a large scale of revamping of our look and feel, the websites, integrations, the entire communication plans, the activation plans, the experiences that has to be done, not forgetting doing good component as a responsible brand, bringing the connection to the CSR world as well, giving actually some of the most powerful communication and the activities that we have seen. So the brand has navigated through this activity during COVID, during the economic crisis, and then also finally to build the Sri Lanka's largest investment in any sector, $1.2 billion, a Cinnamon Life project, which is now today known as City of Dreams. So this is the vision that has brought in with a confidence in the Sri Lankan tourism industry, going beyond even to Maldives, and what a Sri Lankan hospitality brand has transformed the entire community, entire nation, and continue to do so with various activities and the innovation that we are bringing to the table. So this journey is not easy. This journey has actually been committed leadership that actually really understand the values of it. Otherwise, we see in most brands The CEOs come and change, they go and they keep on changing logos and the slogans and the look and feel. Those things won't have much of an impact to the brand. What is important is the content, what you do and what you represent. And finally, what your people will relate to you. So this will bring, we call it, continuous chain of activities, which people will believe and bringing the new touch to the brand. I think this was achieved. It has taken over 10 years, more than 10 years, and the brand has achieved that. And it has come to a point where everyone recognizes it. Somebody comes to Sri Lanka, they would say, okay, I must at least experience this brand. And that's the power of true branding strategy that basically built on a strategic pillars and foundation, thought to a very thoughtful process, going into from detailed analysis and going through a reiteration of 3-4 times, getting required experts, and more importantly, commitment from the leadership as well as the entire team who's delivering on ground. So this is what basically Cinnamon is, and this is the experiences that have been created. And finally, I think it's an example, a great brand study, which even Philip Kotler identified in his latest book, where the case study of Cinnamon is now being recorded, and for anyone to do a little research and understand how to navigate a brand in a corporate structure and also how in an evolving market.